Alright, so I just recorded my first Derek's Clutter, the kind of like overview of what I want to do. Just real quick, I had this stack of board games behind me. I'm actually getting rid of all of these, and so I figured, well, I've done this several times in the past. I've had to get rid of big lots of board games, make room. I try to pare down and play them. I try to play them before I get them. But, you know, there's a lot of hype with board games. You get really excited about something you see online, or it's a Kickstarter. You jump on it, and then when you get here, you're like, okay, it's cool, but it might not have been as cool as you hoped it to be, or you find people to play with it. So everything needs, you know, an audience. And so I play certain types of games, I feel like, and so sometimes either my wife won't play it, or my small group of friends won't play it, or I could bring it to a convention, find people play it. So sometimes there's a lot of games that just sit there. So this is one of my big purges. This one I'm going to try. There's a Facebook group for getting rid of board games, and it's just the board game sale group. So I'm going to try that here. I figure I'd go through some of these and kind of see what I was thinking. And so right here is this is actually one of my favorite games. I like it a lot. D-Day Dice. It was a really big Kickstarter. Valley Games, unfortunately, Valley Games didn't do some stuff. I think they had contractual issues with some of the IPs that they were using, so they kind of messed up a little bit. And I hear it's getting a second printing in November, so I actually might pick up that. Right, I kind of got. It's a big thing. It came with a bag, an extra deluxe tin to hold it all in, and a bunch of extra stuff. I'm actually kind of into just base sets because I don't even play a game enough times to get to the expansions. So that's a big one. The price is probably falling on that now that they're gonna do a reprint. That's fine. I'm not looking to make a lot on that. Hopefully, they did say it might integrate with the second edition. So if nobody wants it at, you know, kind of market value, then I might hold on to it and see if it will go with the second edition, which I think I'll pick up. So some of this other stuff, let me show you here what I got. I got Quarriors, this one right here, Quarriors Curse. It's a good one. It was an expansion. It actually happens to just be harder to find, so I figure I'll pass it on to somebody else because I'm not really playing Quarriors much. I do love that game. It's hard to get to the table, so you know that one's limited. I'm gonna try to pass that one along. I love zombies. There's just that's probably one of the original zombie board games. It did a good job for what it was. It pretty popular with the casual crowd. The game can go on for a very long time, so that's one of its downfalls. And there's a lot of other zombie games out now that do what it's trying to do, but you know, have improved upon. Dungeonville and Munchkin are just silly casual games I never really got into. Kind of one and dones for me. 8-Man Empire, Ryan, I think his name's Ryan Lockey. He is the game designer I wish I was. He's got art background. His art is gorgeous. He makes a ton of really cool games. I think it's Red Raven Games, so if you're into board games, check out Red Raven. He does all stuff through Kickstarter. He threw one of his first ones up around the time I threw up one of mine, and his trajectory has just been awesome. It's the dream. It's really what a lot of us independent designers wish the kind of success we wish we could have had. So great games, and I played that once. I liked it. My friends didn't really fall in love with it, so it's got to go. He's got Above and Below and a couple other ones I really want to play. Smash Up's fun. Everybody's got it, so I'm gonna have to pass that one along for cheap. Small World I'm considering keeping. I got a little expansion for it there. Some of my friends do like that one. It's just a little too competitive for my wife, and it hasn't seen a lot of table play, so that one is a maybe. The Adventurers and Risky Business I got for cheap. They're both in shrink, sitting around. I watched videos on them now, finally, about I watched some reviews, and I see kind of like what they do, and they're just not going to make it to the table. Ticket to Ride's okay. Going Gone was fun. They're not getting to the table, they're just taking up space. Creatures was fun. It was a Kickstarter around the time I kickstarted my first game, which is also in this pile. We Are Dead. That was my first game. And so, you know, it was cool to support somebody. I think they were local. They were Long Beach when I was in Orange County. Nice little family put together. The game has some design issues. I've only played through it a few times. I found it it was fun. It's definitely probably better with kids. Otherwise, I think there was some issues with putting them together, or drawing, or having a dead hand. I can't remember. It was a lot of years ago. Ziggity, don't know what that is. It might have been a gift. Never opened it, never played it. I have some collectible games here, like Vortex is a collectible tile laying game, CCG. It's in unique packaging. I'm going to pass that along. Disc Wars I think it has a small and fervent community. Fervent? I don't know. Whatever that word is. That might find a home. Superhero Showdown, another little Kickstarter from a small indie press guy. That was cool. It was super fun. It's only a 2-player. One of my gaming friends at the time played it. He didn't really care for it, and so I haven't had anybody else to play with it since. That was like 4 years ago, so it's gonna go. The Monopoly card game. Most people in the board game community frown on anything Monopoly. Monopoly Gamer, though, is finding some traction in the world right now. I still need to play that one. I'm getting rid of Monopoly the card game, never really played it. I have Monopoly the dice game, which I played with my wife a couple times, and it's actually a little bit of fun, and I think I can get her to play it again in the future. Guilds of Cadwallon is cool mini or not. They are just the granddaddies of Kickstarter now. Most of their Kickstarters go over 1 million, some of them bust. I can't remember what some are, 3 or 5. It's up there. I don't think any of them have done Exploding Kittens level, but they put out a lot of high quality miniatures. All their components are always fantastic. I tried to play that one again with the same gaming buddy who plays Superhero Showdown, and it wasn't really for us. Quarantine Z, that was one that is another Kickstarter that I picked up. I really, really, really wanted to play this game. It's 3 players, so I don't have any of my gaming partners, and we wouldn't have enough, and then my wife, so I just don't have time to try to convert it or figure it out, and somebody has to play as the zombies. So I really wanted to try that one out. It's card based. It's got kind of a Cards Against Humanity basic look to it. It does have images on the cards. I actually like the design style. I really, really wanted to play that one. Never got a chance. Cloud Fantasy, that's a little sealed starter deck. If you don't know what Cloud is, don't feel bad. Not many people do. And Cloud is one of my favorite games of all time. It is a dexterity game. It's actually a stack of poker chips that you throw onto a mat, and you're trying to beat your opponent by having the most victory points on the field at the end. So you throw characters out, and they stay on the board, and depending on how powerful they are, they have certain abilities, toughness, and victory points, and it was really balanced. There was some OP stuff, but it was overall a very balanced game. It had spells, so you throw the spell out, do something really powerful, but then it wouldn't stay, and it wouldn't be worth any victory points, but it would eat up slots in your stack. And I could go on and on about Cloud. I'll probably do several videos on Cloud, at least one. I had a giant collection at one point, and I don't know, it's hard to say something like this, but it was a very small player pool, but at one point I won the only Dragon Invitational, so I could arguably say I was the best Clout player in the world at one point, and it means nothing. There was 20 people in that tournament. I did win almost every tournament I entered, which was nice and fun. There was some cool rewards for winning. I really, really love that game. It mattered how you built your stack. So coming from Magic the Gathering into a casual game like that probably gave a little bit of advantage because I built really powerful stacks, and then you got to throw well. So I like chip shuffling and play poker, and I like all that stuff. So I feel like that helped. But they gave out some cool prizes at the first Dragon Invitational. All these dragon chips, and they were in Japanese. It was very limited. It was really cool, but again, big fish in a very, 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 very small pond. So if that game would have truly blown up, I would have been probably an average player. King of Crime. This is a game by one of my friends, Dan Smith. Smith Games. Hey Dan. Hopefully, I'll probably pass this video along to you. King of Crime, fun game. He makes this, and he makes Battle of the Bands. I like his games. I supported him for both those Kickstarters, and great guy. I like his art. Just games I can't get to the table. So right now, unfortunately, they're just taking up space, and I do want to get his games out there, so I'll pass those along at a good price so that somebody else can get them and enjoy them, and hopefully he'll have another supporter. And he just had another game come out that I picked up as well, Monster One. It's a smaller card game, and I think that one will actually do really well in my gaming group and maybe even with my wife, so I'm going to do that. And then I'll follow the trail back up to here. This game 6, this was introduced to me by my friend James. It's a good little puzzle game. It's kind of like an open-ended Connect 4 on the board. So like it's one color, it's red versus black. One player plays one color, the other player plays the other, and you just got to get in these certain geometric shapes, either a line, a diamond, or a pyramid. And you just keep moving your things down until you get it. And so you're constantly blocking your opponent, and then setting yourself up to try to do like the open-ended Connect 4 move where you've got a win with your next move no matter where you go. Fun little game. I don't get to play it much. Mini Monfa. This game has terrible reviews. I have a little sealed expansion for it right there. I never got to play this. It suffered from the rules, supposedly the rules translation. So if you read the rules in English, you can play, but as I've read online, you don't understand certain interactions. So that's always hard and annoying. So I'm gonna pass on that one. I got it for super cheap. Gonna pass along super cheap. Heroes 5, a collectible tile and card laying game. I know nothing about that. I don't know where I picked it up. I don't know how, why, when, where, so I'm just going to get rid of it. We Are Dead is my game. I'm not going to go too much into that. There's other videos I have. You can check out the Kickstarter page from 2012. It's available. I still have about 100 copies left. I take them to conventions and they do really well. Casual gamers, people who go to Comic-Cons and stuff, love the game, and so I'm gonna throw one in this lot too. But yeah, you play as the zombies. It's fun. It's very casual. If you like casual games, you'll probably like it. If you like meatier games, I would say it's a hard pass. And then right here's my newest game, Starcade. So I'm throwing one of those in this lot too. And then this Undead Army is a cool game. It's like a miniatures battle game. A miniatures, like a Warhammer, War Machine kind of game, but you don't need any miniatures. The cards are units, and you move them around the board like you would move your miniatures units, but you just move the cards. It's a very cheap way to get the same kind of flavor. King of Tokyo, I love this game, just don't get to play it ever. I have the cool Broken Token insert in there. Shout out to Broken Token. Greg does a great job. He's a genius. He makes game inserts for tons and tons of board games, and they're fantastic. They fit snug. All your components are in place. Doing a free little plug for him here, and but I love his products. I have my Lords of Waterdeep one is essential. I love it, and so I'm throwing that one in there, and some little lightning gem tokens that he made as a component upgrade. A Few Acres of Snow is a two-player only. It's a two-player only deck building game. I like deck building games. This is. It always looked really cool. Never got to play it, so it's just sitting here. It's kind of hard to find, so pass along and hopefully somebody else can enjoy it. I got Star Trek, the original series deck building game here. I thought I'd get this one and play with my dad. My dad loves Star Trek, and I try to find some. He likes games too, so he's a huge World of Warcraft player, plays that all the time, and he will get into board games with my brother and I. This one, after looking at it, I think we'd rather stick with the Lord of the Rings deck builder, even with its issues, from I think Cryptozoic. So that one's been a hit. He loves Lord of the Rings as well as I do. So that one will see more future play. So I'm just going to get rid of that one right there. Pirates of the Spanish Main was a collectible miniatures game where you pop out these miniatures out of these styrofoam things. I have one here. This is one of their other games. This is a race day. And so each one of these is a little sheet. It's a little pop out, and you build the miniatures. So it comes flat, and you pop them out, and you build it. And same thing with the ships that come in there. And so it was a collectibles miniatures game where you'd buy packs and you get randoms, and then but this is the board game version. It's pretty cool. So it's self-contained, is everything you need. Stratego Legends. I love Stratego. Some of my friends who aren't super into board games know Stratego from when they were kids. So I was like, oh, well, I'll get the Stratego Legends. And we 10 years later still haven't played it. Same thing with Castle Risk. I grew up loving Risk, but, you know, Risk has its issues. I thought, oh, maybe Castle Risk will be different. Still never got to play it. Then I have a lot of decks of playing cards. So just going to give out some of those. And then I don't know if I showed this already, but just a miniatures case from Ultra Pro. And so this is kind of cool. I got to catalog some of the games I'm getting rid of. I really, really wish I would have done this with a few of the other rounds of ones I did. At one point in my collection, I think I had around 500 games, and I've done a couple purges like this, and just keep trying to get rid of them. And yeah, so I'll be able to check this out later and be like, oh yeah, I had those, and then remind myself of maybe how much I got to play them or what my thoughts were. Alright, so this is a episode of Derek's Clutter. This is a board game Purge in October of 2017, and so I'll be back later with something else cool to show you guys. Alright, later.